Alrighty, hello. What's up? Um, just getting on here real quick. I had a stressful morning because it was super windy while I was working, and I'm really grateful that I got safely through all my jobs. Got done pretty fast. Um, it was just sad though because um my kids were both really stressed out when I got home. And it just makes me sad that I can't, always be with them or, you know, be everything that they need me to be. And yeah, like there's a lot of advice out there and everything, but it's just it's just hard, and I think we do okay, but today's just one of those days where I'm thinking I'm so grateful for so many things. This is one of the harder, more stressful days, but it's all right. But it's still hard because we're all like kind of sick. We're all kind of stressed out. Um, so yeah, it's just one of those harder kind of days. But what's keeping me optimistic is that every day I hear something that it makes me think like, oh, and those kind of eureka moments or those epiphany moments where you're, aha, oh, okay, now that makes sense. Now oftentimes that leads me to asking more questions. And so it's just funny because there's this obvious issue going on right now where you have people saying like, oh, well, don't say that because it's dangerous for people. And my argument has always been like, well, don't you want to know if somebody has a point of view that you think is fucked up? Because if you try and silence it, do you think it's going to actually go away? No, it's just going to go do what it wants to do anyways. And so that's always been my grapple with the free speech in general. And I don't know. I mean, I guess I can understand not wanting, like, hey, good afternoon, it's gloomy Salt Lake City. But yeah, it's funny because like I was just chastising my dad for saying something that I thought was kind of inappropriate for him to say around my daughter. And so it's not like I don't understand nuance. I mean, people should face the repercussions of what they say, is what I mean. And so it's kind of like I don't need somebody to make a rule as to what's inappropriate. I get to make that decision. I get to walk away. I get to choose not to talk to that person. It's kind of that's what I'm trying to articulate, and I don't know I don't quite know how to deal with this situation because it's like on one hand, yeah, I understand wanting to just smooth things over or be polite for polite sake, but I mean in in like the news, that's what they do in the mainstream narrative of everything is just whitewash it and make it all like good and clean and easy, but that's not necessarily the truth. Um so yeah, how the hell do we deal with this? And I mean, I know people have their criticisms about democracy anyway, like why should we let majority rule in the first place? Does that even make sense? But in the argument of having a democracy, why have one if we're just going to lie all the time? So that's another thing that I'm grappling with. But I've been really pleased to discover, like, just recently some new voices that are saying things that are making me think in a new way. And I just appreciate that. I like when someone says something that makes me question myself. And so far as I can still deal with myself, but be like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm going to try and do better. And it's because I want to understand more. I have nothing to prove to anybody except for those few people in my life that I really want to show up for and actually do my best for them. And does it serve me or them for me to just pretend like everything is all good? No. Like, I need to be able to be honest with my family sometimes and say, hey, like, I actually need your help. And I can't work all day and then come home and like just work even more. Um and so I've been taking a lot of time for myself. Um and that's been really important, and it's let the house and the yard go, you know, to shit, but in terms of really doing my best to be emotionally there for my family members and to also deal with myself in such a way so that at least my body can rest, so that what turns into a little discomfort um in terms of feeling kind of unwell, like kind of like I could be getting sick, and just treating it well enough and taking rest when I need it and asking for help and asking for a break. So yeah, I think that would be a nice way to build society, is where um you don't need to ask someone for amnesty because it never gets so bad. I mean, I recall having lived in Florida as a kid. Um you'd use amnesty for like, oh, it's illegal to have a 15-foot python or whatever. So we'll grant you amnesty if you turn it in. We won't charge you with the crime. And if you turn it into us, that would be better than you just letting it roam free and take over the swamp, which is happening. Um, so interesting little picture in my mind of just like how we let our own lack of honesty, uh, it really gets in the way of a lot of things, and it grows into something much bigger. And it trains everyone around us um, to be rewarded for lying. And so I've just been thinking a lot about this, like how to deal with trying to not let my kids go to the wolves, so to speak, but also not really shelter them in a perfect bubble either. Let them figure some things out for themselves, let them make mistakes. But not to the extent where I'm like setting them up for failure. And so I'm trying to grapple with honesty from my kids and letting them know that, you know, I don't want them to keep perpetuating the lie. I want them to be able to come to me if they're in trouble. So I know that's a bit of wishful thinking. It's part of the rebellion. It's a part of discovering yourself. And I had a classmate named Kyle Dempster. He died. He was an alpine mountain climber. And I keep thinking about him, like those adventurous kind of people. They leave their loved ones heartbroken. And so I think I had a little bit of a wild streak in me, but I'm certainly grateful I was never so wild. I do want to play it a little safer because I feel like I have a lot of work to do. I feel like I have lots to read. Many more winters to play in the snow. So yeah, I feel like I've got to stick around for a while, and I want to keep my body in good shape. But today I was really scared because I was working in yards that had some huge trees, some old trees, and I was scared I was going to have the wind blow branches on me. And so I was literally just praying for my protection, and I just want to be protected so that I can get back to my damn kids every day. You know, we have a lot to do together. And I just hope they know that even though I can be pretty dumb, I have a huge heart and I really want to understand just things, life, the world. And I think the best way to do that is to understand yourself. And I think the way you keep from being like a narcissist or a psychopath is to be open to how other people are feeling and to really tune into yourself too. Because we need to have grace for both ourselves and others. It's going to be really important. So trying to go keep the peace and go back to cleaning up around the house. But I just wanted to check in and just say I know that I come from a place of kind of sometimes Pollyanna and naive, but also I'm like quite cynical and snarky, and I see the shit I don't want to do. That's kind of that was the cool thing about taking accounting classes, finance classes in high school, and doing concurrent enrollment, college stuff, and being in Future Business Leaders of America and Academy of Finance, and getting internships at American Express in high school, and working as a teller and in a bank. It's like I did that all very young, and I learned I did not want to do that. So I got to do a lot of different jobs over the past 20 years because I was always working in broadcasting as like moonlighting, and I was always trying to do something different. And I had so many ventures that I struck out to do, being so idealistic. And I did a glass recycling thing, and I I did house sitting and dog walking and cleaning jobs and trying to get my own, clients, and working at restaurants and selling used cars for my cousin at his car dealership. I did so many different things, and it was cool because I learned, oh yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So yeah, most of my days in October working outside were gorgeous. I got totally spoiled. And today I was about to crap my pants over, the wind. So I was just really psyched out today, and I needed to process some stuff. But yeah, I've been hearing about some different perspectives, some other people that I think have been in my place where they're like, oh yeah, I was wrong about this, and that's okay. And I want to find those people like CJ, and it's just, yeah, it's really cool to have that going on right now, because it helps keep me out of the arguments that everybody else is having. And I can kind of see when they're trying to get riled up, and I know those trigger words, and I can just avoid them if possible. And then, yeah, if I want to pick at somebody, I know what to say to get them riled up. And I'm not saying I enjoy doing that, but I used to kind of be really stupid and push buttons. And so yeah, I'm not trying to really push buttons these days. But I am trying to keep it real. So that's the hard thing too. Is I don't want to just dance around things. But I can't put my foot too firmly down on the ground. Like I have to stay nimble. I have to keep poking holes in everything, especially my own ways of thinking. And so, yeah, that's what this whole journaling rant is all about, so that you can kind of see where I've come from. One of my big lessons of the week, and it's Monday, was recognizing the whole ring around the rosy of Joe Rogan and all the people that he's introduced into the world, including someone I mentioned really early on when I started to do these. I read an article or something from a website called the Consilience Project, and this guy Daniel Schmachtenberger, and that was one of the references to the title of my talk, Too Dense to Float, is these intellectual dark web guys, going back to like David Fuller and Rebel Wisdom and the Weinstein. I was just like, oh, whoa, that's so weird, because just like not this summer 2022, but in 2021, I was driving up to Logan, which is about 90 miles from my house, and I was listening to tons of Joe Rogan at the time, and I was getting introduced to all these people, and I was listening to all these other podcasts. I was listening to Duncan Trussell and all these other weird things, and yeah, suddenly I'm just like finally able to step further back and be like, oh my God, okay, yeah, well, I guess I needed to listen to some of that stuff so that I would know that that's the other side of, I think, this whole agenda um of yeah, just convincing us to subscribe to everything and um get your supplements and just all these people selling their products and just all these people marketing more methods of convenience, of health, blah, blah, blah. And so I love the people that that do not sell anything on their channels except ideas, and they don't, and they seem sincere. I mean, because even if they're wrong, like I feel like that's one thing I want to pay attention to is like how we're divided against our would-be allies constantly. And so that's why you can't criticize cryptocurrency in a pro crypto space. And just like if you're a part of a religion, you can't criticize that because then you're labeled the anti, and it's just probably what we've been arguing about since time immemorial. So I don't know. I don't know too much about this spirituality stuff, because I think I've had aversions to a lot of it because it just seems so exclusionist. And I'm so sick of that. I'm so sick of this dividing line. And the people that kind of give you these ultimatums that it's like this is a real common one. It's like, just, well, if you don't like it, move. If you don't like how it is, here, move. And so I don't know. I come from refugees and transplants and converts and a whole, mixed up bag of DNA, but not a lot of culture. And the community that I'm in is very much centered around, sweets and treats and things looking cute and things on the outside looking very clean and beautiful. And yeah, there's some problems with that. There's a problem with having too much sugar. We have drive-through soda places and drive-through cookie places and sell more ice cream at our basketball arena than any other sports venue in the country. Even in the winter. It's just insane. So, I've been just so freaking naive to like all that's actually going on in all of these industries that I didn't want to work in. So I left them. Seriously, CJ, yeah, it's the newest it's the newest thing. I mean, it just started. It just started a few years ago. It was like the soda shop. And then it's like soda and cookies. And then they just built just a cookie shop down the street. It's insane. Uh-oh. I got an awesome troll, a bot. That's awesome. Sweet. CJ's the only one that watches my my channel live. And I got a bot. This is huge. I've got my first moderator. Got my first bot. Well, it couldn't get any better than that. I think I'm gonna end on a high note. And thank you, CJ, for checking this out. And good luck with the weather this week. This week's gonna be shitty, but we're gonna make the most of it. Okay. Well, thank you as always. Bye.